Imagine a place where munching on a light bulb is not just a stage act by daring performers or a bizarre scene from a mystery novel but an activity completely legal under local laws. Yes, you heard that right. We're diving into this unusual legal landscape where consuming light bulbs won't land you in hot water, legally speaking. So, grab your metaphorical forks and let's explore the fascinating world of legality and what makes this possible. Our unusual culinary tale starts in the United States, a country known for its vast cultural spectrum and sometimes puzzling laws. The state we're honing in on, Delaware. Now, you might be wondering why anyone would dream up a law concerning light bulbs and edibility in the first place. It turns out, the legal quirk is actually part of laws concerning public performance, specifically those of sideshows and performing acts that captivated audiences, especially in the early 20th century. Delaware, like many other states, once hosted a thriving circuit of vaudeville performances and circus acts. Here's where the story stitches itself together with legal threads, a time when showmen and performers wore the badge of oddity and allure with pride. Among these spectacles, performers known as glass eaters or human ostriches became highlights, mystifying audiences with their seemingly impossible feats of chomping through glass and metal. The embrace of such daring acts led to an unexpected yet practical response from lawmakers. Rather than clamp down on these bizarre yet popular spectacles, Delaware's approach largely ensured the performers were regulated for safety rather than prohibited entirely. Essentially, if one chose to embrace this crunchy diet by way of performance art or personal delight, the laws surprisingly stood aside, so long as no harm came to public safety or others' rights. Digging a little deeper, the foundations of these foods, or rather these performances, lie in the rich history of American entertainment. Sideshows were a cornucopia of curiosities, employing varied talents from sword swallowers to fire breathers. Glass eaters carved out a niche by showcasing resilience and perceived invincibility, often explaining their acts with pseudo-scientific bravado that hinted at secret training techniques or innate abilities. But why glass, specifically? The science behind eating glass lies more in technique than a daredevil digestive system. Performers typically selected thin, fragile glass, like that of a light bulb, employing keen expertise to chew without causing mouth injuries. The trick lay in grinding the glass finely before swallowing, minimizing the risk of lacerations internally, though still fraught with significant dangers. Entertaining, yes, for the audience, but harrowing for the one who performed. The light bulb, specifically, might owe its unsought fame as an edible item to its ubiquity and the dramatic flair that came with its shattering, enhancing the thrill factor when crunched upon. However, it is worth noting that despite the lack of a specific law prohibiting this unusual diet, health authorities, safety regulations, and entertainment industry standards today generally frown upon such acts. Modern performers, in line with the ethics of safety, usually opt for illusionary tricks over real consumption. This unique aspect of Delaware's legislative approach can be understood better by considering the nuanced balance between protecting individual freedoms and public health. While Delaware doesn't criminalize the act outright, it underscores personal responsibility, a reflection of broader American legal philosophy where personal freedom meets its obligations. Unlike many other places, the absence of a law interpreting glass eating as inherently illegal draws a thin line, leaning on performers' discretion and public decency laws. The fascination with bizarre and often dangerous acts has waxed and waned over the decades. In contemporary times, channels like YouTube or TV shows occasionally revive these spectacles, drawing millions of curious eyes. But the historical context of fixating on weird feats reminds us that laws often evolve from society's appetite for the extreme and unusual, morphing beyond written statutes into cultural norms. Imagine now, walking the stony streets where theaters and fairs once flourished with these mystifying acts. The law books resting in old city halls of Delaware hide pages as colorful and as strange as the sites they once governed. Delaware's peculiar stance invites a ponderous reflection on the role of law as both a guardian of whimsy and protector of well-being. What's even more fascinating is how such laws contrast starkly with general assumptions about legality and safety. We usually think of laws as outright decrees of prohibition, but in this rare instance, it shows flexibility, almost an ecosystem adapting to accommodate one of humanity's quirks, fascination with the abnormal. In a sense, Delaware presents a case study in preserving cultural oddities within legal bounds, a living chronicle of circus aplomb immortalized in law's embrace. As we unwrap this curious legality, it reveals an underlying truth about laws and societies. They are less about prescribing what is ordinary or acceptable, and more about delineating the boundaries of acceptability while preserving freedoms. For Delaware, this dance with the devilish delight of eating light bulbs is less about endorsing danger and more a relic of a world juggling entertainment, economy, and individual rights. Our long journey exploring the shape and shine of such unforeseen legal territories not only informs but delights in its peculiarity. Though tempting to dismiss as mere quirky footnotes in legal history, they reflect a dance, a lively samba between past fascinations and present-day jargon. Could it be that, paradoxically, a law not explicitly prescribed allows for more freedom while still gently reminding performers and audiences alike of the risk veiled in each spectacle? Indeed, Delaware's lack of a prohibitive stance remarks on one of its founding principles. Let the curious prance, but do so with eyes wide open. Another interesting lens to understand this legal oddity is by comparing it to other peculiar laws around the world. Many nations bear similarly strange rules. In Switzerland, owning just one guinea pig is illegal due to their social nature. In Singapore, it's illegal to chew gum without a prescription. And in Thailand, stepping on money is considered a fiscal faux pas punished by law. Each peculiar regulation tells a story reflecting cultural norms and local narratives woven into statutory cloth. The lack of prohibition in Delaware contrasts with a global patchwork of cultural-specific laws, where glass eating found legality not through endorsement but more through omission. Globally, as entertaining oddities increasingly find themselves regulated, either through laws directly targeting them or broader safety impositions, it remains a unique facet of Delaware's cultural tapestry to find such legal gaps manifesting as freedoms. In closing, when you picture Delaware, picture a corner of the world where light bulbs shatter without legal consequence, a place embracing not just the somber, the serious, the safe, but also the wild tales of what once was. This brave blend of history, human curiosity, and legality reminds us how boundaries may touch the absurd, yet provide an unexpected glimpse into society's artifact, the law. Where other tales conclude, Delaware begins with a simple message. Come explore its bizarre brilliance and feel free to ask what could possibly be next. Don't forget, while you won't see this unusual rite exercised on the streets every day, the fact that it's stitched into the fabric of law hints at humanity's perpetual dance with the extraordinary, one where the law, like performers' pasts, shapes not just what is forbidden, but the very threshold of what we consider possible. Keep that in mind as you peruse the dusty corners of legal history or the glowing spectrums of societal quirks. There's always a new light bulb moment waiting, sometimes hidden in plain sight. Speaking of moments, don't forget to subscribe to stay tuned for our next curious legal escapade. From Delaware's delightful daring to the more peculiar international feats we are excited to unravel with you.